ON8NT. ON8NT.
Calling all members and friends of Pennine Ham for the Thursday evening lab. Quite a few people were connected in so far. I'll never go on again further down on there. Okay. And who would not first? Paul G0TVB in the group. M08. From Paul. We'll see if she can join us this evening. She's on the net or on the YouTube channel. G4JBA in the group. M0AG. Good evening, Joe. A few people were connected. Nothing heard from Jim. So, through MB6MI, that'll be, nothing. Good evening, going at 0AG. Because from M0OGR. Over to you there, Lou. G8JJ in the group. M0AU. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Jeff. M0AU in the group, G8KJJ, and good evening to everyone else. The WX in Nottingham has been glorious to me. The temperature will be high, 16 Celsius, but it was warmer in the sun, and I managed to get some gardening and potting out and all those jobs that you do on nice days. Not too much radio today, but done a fair amount of radio previous days in the week. Conditions have been variable. Tuesday I managed to work BP8LP in the Portland on SSB, which I was pleased with, and a number of other stations, North American stations on SSB. On Wednesday it was very strange. Worked KP2, SG, VA, JA in the morning, and these stations, well certainly the VK and the KP2B, they were calling CQ for quite some time. I did wonder if there was something strange going on. The sunspot number was 58, which was low, but the SFI was 156, which is not in keeping with the sunspot number. But there you go. We did have misty conditions here in Nottingham, and I'm situated on top of a hill, and I did wonder if some sort of obligation was going on, because I managed to work those stations with absolutely no difficulty, but other people were not calling in, so I seem to be having a situation where I was getting through when other people weren't, but that's amateur radio. Anyway, back to you, Jeff, and M0AUG and the group G8KJJ.
G8KJJ in the group M0AG returning. Yes, fine on that, Lou. I think the conditions have been only fair on the HF bands in the last couple of days, so maybe that's part of the problem. So we'll go to Northern Germany now with D1BJW with delay PDT. Over to you both and hope you're okay, and take it away, Mike, please. Delta Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey. Sorry about that. Sorry. Yeah, we are okay. Thank you very much. Hope everyone else also okay and well. And great to be part again of the digital blue sky, few clouds, and from time to time even no clouds at all. Was about 15 degrees centigrade, and at night temperature goes down to only 1 above zero, and the next days are forecasted to be relatively cool. That is to say, tomorrow it will be warm again, but on Saturday and Sunday, by the way, the 2 days of the and my KX2 rig, these days should only be about 10 degrees centigrade and a little bit insecure all in all. So I think my plans will be a little bit guarded each time. But let's wait and see. Yeah, so far from my side, more the next over. Passing the microphone for now to Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango.
Yeah, very good evening to all of you. This is Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango. It's good to be part of the net tonight. Yesterday's talk was quite interesting, and it was fascinating how much different projects Europe had planned and in the past, and I think it might be very interesting to read the articles he had published. The potato radio seemed to be a project which will be of interest. So perhaps, Nick, if you have a link or so to the articles, this might be quite interesting. Yes, as Mike said, weather conditions here are quite good. Last weekend we had been at the town of Hildesheim, where we studied several years ago, several centuries ago, and decades ago. But the weather was quite well then. On Friday there were about 17 degrees centigrade and sunshine, and so we tried to get on the hills near the town, radio with us, and wanted to make some contacts from the hills. There was such a chilly and strong wind with sand flying all over the field that we didn't succeed to put up a station. Summer has to come. We'll have to be patient. So that's all for the first over. I have the microphone back to M0 AUT for the group.
DL1 BJW in the group, M0 AUG returning. Yeah, 1 2 dropouts from both your overs there. And the thing that we couldn't pick up what you were saying. And Adriana, I don't mind for you for saying centuries as opposed to there you go, decades. And there you go. I always have to laugh on these sort of things. Over to you then, G4IWO in the group, M0AUG.
M0 AUG in the group from G4IWO, and of course, as always, live on YouTube. I'm say good evening to everybody. I can't tell you very much about either weather or radio conditions today, since I spent most of it in the loft of my son's house over in Salford in Manchester, putting in some lighting in his loft that he wanted doing. But as always, these things take longer than you think they're going to. It's a question of working in confined spaces. But I do know the weather was very nice today. I haven't been on the radio at all today, but like Lou, I was on earlier in the week, and I found conditions quite strange. There was very little activity on 10 metres when I logged in earlier in the week, either on sideband or CW. And I did make a couple of contacts on sideband with the stations I could hear. And then I called CQ and on CW, and then worked several DX stations in Saudi Arabia and Kuwait, and then over in Brazil, all with giving me very, very good reports. So I think it was more a question earlier in the week, when I was on at least, Lou, of there not being a lot of activity on the radio, not many people around, and that's quite likely the case for those that were calling CQ the other day. So it's always worthwhile, I think. The motto of this, as we know, is always call CQ even if the band looks dead. And yeah, last night's talk by Hiroki AH6CY was very, very good indeed. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Such an interesting man. And I'm so pleased that we got him to talk. And as you said, his earlier, his range of interests in radio and the writing that he has done is pretty spectacular, I think. So very impressive indeed. And it was a pleasure to host him at the meeting last night. So back to you, Jeff. M0, are you in the group G4IWO?
G4IWO, group M0, AUG returning. It's fine, I think. I'm also working at Yosem's in this loft. And I've all this straight, I've not seen anything on the WhatsApp group from you today, so I realise you must have been not involved with something else. So, yeah, and it was a super talk last night, it was. All the people that pick it up on the YouTube as well enjoyed it as well. And also, good evening to everybody who's on YouTube. If you've got any comments, put them in the chat, and they'll be laid down to us at the good control here. Right, over to you then, Bob. November 4 X-ray Alpha Tango in the group. M0AUG, good evening, Bob. M0AUG with the group, November 4 X-ray Alpha Tango. First of all, the presentation last night was excellent. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I'd love to have him come back and listen to some more of his stories. I've never played with a potato radio, however, I have played with a lemon radio. And a lemon radio, I guess, does about the same thing, maybe a little more power with a lemon radio than with a potato radio, but I really forget because it's been so long, but it was in the milliwatts at any rate. But quite an enjoyable evening last night. And can come back anytime and I'll listen. He kept me awake through the entire presentation. The weather here today, we're at our high now at about 10 degrees. And I'm still looking forward to spring though. 10 degrees is still a bit cool for me. The older I get, the more heat I apparently need high. I've got way back on my radio because I've had other things that I had to take care of. But yesterday I had a very, very poor day. in group M0AG setting. Fine on the bomb, and it's not always convenient to do all the things it is, and I've had a visit to doing things totally outside amateur radio, and not been able to even listen in today, which is unusual. And that's what the hobby is. And the beauty of it is you can pick it up and put it down and get on with something else. Right, over to Belgium now. Oscar Lane from the top of the group. AEC. Good evening, Jeff.
Good evening, Jeff. A very good evening, very good day, wherever you are. Also, the YouTube viewers. We had 60 degrees Celsius and sunshine, especially the noon. In the morning it was a little bit misty, but in the afternoon we had sunshine, so on the balcony, even protected from the wind, that went up to 26 degrees. So brilliant weather, really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed the talk yesterday, that was absolutely amazing. I guess he must be over 80, he must be 80 to 83 years, something like that, but it was absolutely crazy, and such a dynamic person, putting up such an antenna on his own with that fantastic idea of using the thing on his car to put up the bicycles. Brilliant. I really like that idea. Okay, though, yesterday in the late afternoon I worked Delta 68 Zulu on the islands on 12 meters at FTA. And it was very good, there were no takers, so I just called him and he came straight back to me, so that was good luck. And on Tuesday evening in the late afternoon again, on 10 meters I worked more than the USA stations on FT8 and FT4, so the band was excellent. Next weekend I think it's the CQ Worldwide SSB contest, I think. And I will try to do a 10 meter entrance on that part in the QRP part. So I will try it again in QRP on 10 meters. So, and congratulations to you on working Victor Papa 8 and all the other beauties. That's absolutely incredible. So your system is working great there, I think. And Adriana, congratulations your video. I really like the video and professionally made again. So congratulations. Mike, 0AUG the group, over 8 November.
Alright, I'm signing the group M0AUG. Hello, Jeff, and I did send a message across to Adriana earlier on. I've not had a chance to look at the wing, but she done this week with quite a few things going on family-wise, and I was able to get a chance to look at next week. And yes, you are right, Jeff, it's the CQWPX contest this weekend from midnight on Friday evening through to midnight. So I don't know if I'll be able to do much on a Saturday again with family commitment, and we'll try and catch up in the time available on Sunday as well. And always a good contest, I think, but I don't know if the band conditions will make it worthwhile. Okay, so we've already had an email this evening from Jeff and G6 and Sam. His daughters come over to visit him from France, so obviously he's tied up with family things as well. So I don't know whether there's anybody else. Right, some of the regulars are missing. M0RL and M4JKs are not joining us yet. No problem. So back to the top of the list again, and we'll see how into this time round. M0OGR in the group, M0AEG. Nothing heard from M0OGR. So what I'll do, I've just noticed that Keith, GM4JKZ, has just logged in, and as we just got to the end of the list with Jeff previously, I'm going to ask you to come in now then, Keith. GM4JKZ in the group, M0AG, good evening. you do the group GM project, yes, good, and then one, and later on, parade. Busy trying to source parts for the car. So radio's taken a back seat this week so far, and thought we'd solved the problem on the car, really noisy belt system. So I had it serviced today down at our local garage. I ended up underneath with it, working with it straight enough. And the belt tensioner we replaced, thinking it would be that. That's the normal thing that goes, and it transpires. After researching it a little bit more, it's the alternator clutch pulley system. So I just managed to source one of those online, so that's why I was late on parade. So that should be with us on Monday, and get that changed out. Otherwise, not a lot doing on the radio side. Just trying to sort out which hotspot I'm using at the moment, and I think I'm on the right one anyway there, Jeff. So let's put it back to you there, M0AUG with the GM4JKZ.
GM4JKZ with the group M0AUG. Yes, I'm not keeping very well to join us. I think catch an awful lot at the beginning of the over, because there's quite lots of breakups there. I took you that you were trying to source some parts, maybe for the whole you can tell me next time around. Back over to you there, Lou. G8KJJ in the group, M0AUG. M0AUG in the group, G8KJJ. Yes, okay, Jeff. I really enjoyed Hiroki's presentation, AH6CY. It was very interesting, and I've come to the conclusion that maybe I should try that antenna, but it would be a permanent antenna if I did have a go at building it. So I'm not 100% sure how that would work out. It does seem to be very suitable as a portable antenna, but whether it could be made so that it would stand up to the rigors of the UK winds and so forth, because we're situated on top of a hill, so we do get a fair amount of wind here. But it's an interesting thought, and I would like to have a go at it, even if it's only just to put it up temporarily and try it. So I did enjoy that, and I watched it on YouTube today, so it was very enjoyable. And Vic, about the longevity, maybe you may be right on that. It may just have been I was lucky, but it seems strange. And the other thing I wanted to ask is if you could comment on the quality. I'm using a new headset, and I've got I'm operating with a foot switch, but I'm holding it in my hand at the moment because it's a bit unsafe on the floor. I mean, I'm sort of my foot slipping off it, and I thought I'd pick it up and hold it. Anyway, that's as much as I've got at the moment, so I'll pass it back to you, M0AUG in the group, G8KJJ.
G8KJJ in the group, M0AUG. Okay, fine, Lou. The audio was absolutely fine on there. I use a foot switch when I'm on HF, and obviously the foot switch tends to wander around over the floor. And so what I did, I used some double-sided tape from the bottom of the foot switch onto a mat that I got on the floor here. One of these computer mouse is usually a thick plastic thing, and that keeps it in place for most of the time I don't want to use it. But it was absolutely fine, and thanks for joining us this evening. Back over to the one journey. D1VW group, D1VT from M0AUG, over to you, Mike.
Delta Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey. Well, I'm hoping that there will be no breakups now. I think the internet is a little bit stable at this moment. My results from a week of shortwave radio there. It was very interesting to watch how conditions changed from good to bad and back again. Nevertheless, there were some excellent times in between where I managed to work Hotel 2 Kilo from Haiti on 17 meters and CSU, and our good friend Brian ZF3XDJ on the South Island of New Zealand on 20 meters for a nice chat in CW for 10 minutes. That was in the morning, of course. I think it was about 7:30 a.m. UTC on 14035, where he is to be found most mornings at this time. Today I was doing a little bit of FT8, working Delta Papa Zero Golf Victor November from Antarctica, German research station. Also Rodriguez Island, 3 Bravo 9 Delta Juliet. Both FT8 contacts were made on 10 meters, and that went very well. The powers I used in CW, what I mentioned, was 75 watts with the unfed half wave, and the two FT8 contacts there were with 50 watts, also with the unfed half wave. So not bad. I'm satisfied with the outcome there. And nevertheless, as Lou correctly said, it seems to be full of interesting developments and surprises, and some bad surprises. Looking at the bands, you can't be sure what the situation is. By the way, regard to your Papa content was excellent. How's it going to Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango?
This is Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango for the group. Yes, this week I can't talk very special things. When we had been in Hildesheim, I made some tests for the True SDX and the NFED half wave with a balloon from the QAP glass at the hotel, and I spun the wire from inside the room straight to the window and a little bit outside from one window to the other, and put it then inside again. And this worked quite well with FT8, not so good as the week before, so I didn't reach Asia also, but up until I think west coast of east coast of the US, I had all over Europe and in North America, and this from inside the house, only a short part of the antenna had been outside the house, and only with 3 watts, and it was in the town, the middle of the town, so I think that's quite good. And this was the Saturday where the K index had been quite high. I think it was K4 to K5, so quite satisfying. So these are all news from my side. I have the microphone back to M0 UG for the group.
With the old major M0 setting. It's fine up to our channel, and just looking back over the log and Mike mentioned Rodriguez, I've never actually worked there, although someone else mentioned you mentioned Commerce, and I worked Commerce back in 2021, so that's 4 years ago, so that's a good one as well. And surprising what you can learn with limited conditions when you really try, and it's all about trying and keeping it together. Just a quick one, Keith. I did call Jim earlier on, and soon as he more men who was probably watching on the YouTube channel. And you can let me know if you heard any more when we come round to your turn there. What was your planning? G4IWO in the group. MAG.
M0 AUG in the group from G4IWO. Yeah, thank you very much, Jeff. And we're looking forward, I have to say, to the Blackpool Rally on the 13th of April. I definitely will take the ICOM 705. I'm 100% certain we won't be able to put up an antenna inside the hall that's going to transmit anywhere. But of course we could put the radio onto XLX 305D, so I will post information about that on the WhatsApp group. It will be, when there's a radio going in the background and people chatting away like we're doing this evening, it does draw people over to the table, and it will be good to do that, I think, at the Blackpool Rally. We've got a nice group of people now, so apart from Jeff, M0 AUG, we've got Peter, M0 PBF, we've got Ken, G4 VZV, we've got Rachel, M1 AYG, we've got myself, we've got Owen, I believe, is hoping to get over for some or all of the day. So we've got one or two other people hoping they're going to be there. And of course, we've got a visitor from the United States, Steve, AA4BW, who was on the meeting last night and took part in the discussion from the floor afterwards. Steve's going to be up in the Lake District and going to be coming down to Blackpool to the rally as well. So I think we're going to be okay looking after the Pennine Ham stall and the GQRP stall at the same time. I've just got to pop over to Leeds in the next few days to see Graham, the treasurer of the GQRP club, who's got a stand and material from the club to put on the stand over at Blackpool. So it'd be nice to just catch up with Graham as well. Haven't seen him for some time. So yeah, that's good. I think I'm like lots of people. I'm going to give a try to making the Delta Loop antenna that Hiroki was talking about last night. But I think I'm going to make the smaller one. I'm going to make the 10 meter version. So I'm going to build a 10 meter one using the stainless steel telescopic whips and a piece of wire connecting them across the top. And I'm also going to feed it with a 450 ohm feeder and take it into the back of an ATU and then into the IC705. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And I think your point, Lou, about building it at home, I don't think there's any reason why it can't work. And I think what's interesting is that when Ken was running his very successfully at home down in South Yorkshire, he put his at the top of a mast. Hiroki was putting his almost down at ground level back on the back of the car and had equally good results. So I'm not sure it's necessary to put that antenna very high up because it does have a low angle of radiation like a vertical antenna that we would mount at ground level. So I think I'm going to have a go with the 10 meter one and perhaps document how I get on with it. Definitely worth doing. And Jeff and others, I was just looking at the Mike, I was just looking at where we are today, and the smooth sunspot numbers are right down, 63. The SFI is 152, and the K is at 5. So it's a mixed bag, isn't it? Of reasonable conditions, but you can't be certain what you're going to get. What we can be certain of is that there are going to be a lot of stations around on HF this weekend in the CQW PX contest, and the bands will be extremely busy for the whole weekend. So back to you, Jeff. M0 AUG in the group G4IWO.
Thanks for that, Nick, and thanks for the update on staffing levels on the Pennine Rally. I'm looking forward to the club being there. The National Rally obviously is one that I've been to for another 30 years when I was down in Oldham on recently when I'm up in this area as well. I will be having to spend some time away from the stand because my other club in this area, Thornton Cleveland, is having their display stand there. So I'll also need to spend some time with them as a member as well. All sorts of tell liberties, I'm sure. Over to you there, Bob. M4X13 in the group, M0AG. M0AUG in the group, with this is N4X8T. Even though I haven't done a lot this week, I'll try to give you my update on my quota. So far, I have 2,118 entities confirmed, so that's good. Early shift, I only had 1,181, so I have to go do a bit there. Most of my contacts have been on 20 meters, and they have been in CW using mighty glue. However, some of the contacts, I have a few, let's say, in FT8 and a few in voice. When I get close to something, I usually go to voice because usually there are lots of parks on the air that use a single sideband. And in the United States, I don't know how many parks there are, but the top listing, I did my figures today were late. I didn't do them until just before this net at 1900 Zulu is when I came up with 2118. But the top person on the hunters list, I think it was 16,000 something parks that he has. I just can't imagine that, and I'll never get there. But what surprised me is, percentage-wise, I had lost a bit because I cut back. All of a sudden, I gained it all back. So percentage-wise, I'm doing very well. Like I said, I have 2,118 parks, and I wrote it down somewhere. I am 1,272 out of 46,117. So I guess I can't complain. 1,200 out of 46,000. So I'm happy that made my day when I saw that. Not much else to report from here. So back to you for the next go around, Jeff. M08 UG with group 4 Extra Alpha Tango. M4 Extra Alpha Tango. M08 UG. You're incredibly well level, and honestly, it occupies a great deal of your time and a great deal of interest. And that's what I'll be so about. All the things we do, we can pick them up and down, pick them up again. And this is great. I mean, I've asked them to do the shortwave list probably back in the 70s, and then went on for a license, etc. And I still enjoy some shortwave listening as well. You get pleasure out of the quality as well. Thanks for that, Bob. Over to you, Jeff. What's going to break the time of Tango in the group? M0AG.
M0AUG, the group, 08 November Tango. Yeah, okay, well, first of all, congratulations, Mike, on your nice gigs to Lima Hotel Hotel 2. The Antarctic station at 3 Bravo 9, that's a very good league, I think. Very nice. And okay, the league about Blackpool and the XLX 305 Delta, yeah, it's a good idea. I will, if I'm available, I will try to make some QSs there and be active so that people can see a little bit what it is all about. And the idea about a Delta loop at home is a little bit difficult. I think that's a little bit difficult. But anyway, it's quite a beast. Unless like we could have a 10-meter vision that maybe probably manageable from the balcony here. Okay, but on the other hand, I don't want to attract too much attention from people here. So for the moment, what I'm doing with my antennas is accepted. No problem, so maybe not creating any problems each time. And congrats, Bob, on your achievements there. Both are brilliant. What I have been doing, I have been quite active this week and listening to these balloons, these radio amateur balloons on 70 centimeters. Quite fascinating. For the moment, there are four Dutch balloons. There is one near Luxembourg, and there is a German one near Düsseldorf, and one near Berlin. So, yeah, quite some activity there. So it's quite fascinating to see how far you can follow them. I think in most cases that's something like 400 kilometers from where I live here, so that's really fascinating. And all these balloons have maybe 10 milliwatts or 20 milliwatts, something like that. So I really like that experimenting with that. Last Friday I had a brilliant presentation in my local club about the QO100 with a demonstration. I tried to film some of that, but I didn't find it. I'm not that good at filming and photographing, but anyway, it was a brilliant demonstration, and he really showed in practice that it can be done with a 33 centimeter here on our latitude. I think that also important. I guess if you are more to the north, that you will probably need a bigger dish. That's absolutely possible. So really fascinating, and and I think I dropped the report on our WhatsApp group for those who are interested to see what he was using and so on. So that's quite important. I'm really tempted. I'm really thinking about doing something like that. But I still, on my balcony, if I beam to the satellite, there is part of the building between us. So it might give some problems, I think. So I still have to figure that out. And it's a little bit stupid to do investment if you then do something that doesn't work as you would like to have. And then the other thing is that I have been purchased and received the Sierra Victor X-ray module hotspots, the SVX hotspots, which is nearly operational. I have to do some installments of some files on it, but I'm nearly there, so really looking forward to that, to experiment with this little device. It's very little. It's less than a cigarette package, so it's a very nice. Okie doke. Mike 08 G the group, and 8 November Tango.
Yes, fine, Roger. I don't know where you get the time from to do all these activities. You come up with some quite exceptional and well done to you, Jeff. And I always see pieces now and again of things like that on balcony and this type of thing. But really, the work that you do is absolutely exceptional, both for the hobby and for your own personal satisfaction. And you do keep up with us in the news magazines as well. So thanks again for that, Jeff. Over to you there, Keith. GM4 JQZ in the group. M0AG.
M0AG in the group, GM4 JQZ. Hopefully you get me a bit better this time, Jeff. I've changed hotspots mid-flow, and I'm back on the one I'm normally on, so hopefully you can copy me okay. Adriana, I did like your little video, working Alaska on such a low power. I'm still working on the CW, I hasten to add, so bear with me. Jim, by the way, is at his engineering club tonight, Jeff, so that's why he's not on air. It's the fortnightly route and such. And Rocky's talk last night I thought was absolutely fascinating. One thing I failed to ask at the time was, like, with the two arms up, I wondered whether there was much twisting load on the base plate. I would suspect not, but if those arms were flailing around in a high wind, I was just wondering what the end results could be there. But otherwise, absolutely fascinating. Love to put one up here, but neighbours probably would not be too happy. It's worth a try, though, I suppose. Good news about my daughter. She completes on her house on Monday, which is one just inside to not have to pay the stamp duty. And after where are we now? 5 months of waiting to try and get this house purchase completed. She's at last done it. So that's a good thing, although that means probably in a couple of weeks' time I should be down there laying floors, putting up blinds, building furniture and so on and so forth. So that'll be fun. But I will have a handheld with me, I hasten to add, for Thursdays. And yeah, the car, what I was actually saying was had it fully serviced today down at our local garage. Steve, he's a great character. And had terrible noise on the pulley systems on the belts on the Volvo. So we changed what he considered is 99% of the problems is the tensioner roller. What game that was to try and get out and back in again. And it transpires that after all that effort, the alternator pulley stroke clutch system is the offending device. So that's what I was trying to source tonight, which may be a bit late, but I've got one on the way now, so that's good. Well done, Bob, on your poster score, 21-18, brilliant. And Jeff, balloons, I must look into those at some stage. And QO100, love to do it, but as you say, it's a large outlay, isn't it? So that's got to go to the back of the list for me. I'm still waiting for the report on the SCDX 3000. As far as I'm aware, I've had no phone call, so it's still away with Yates at the moment. So I don't know what their queuing system is like, but I shall give the Emporium down south a call on tomorrow, sometime, just to get an update. And last but not least, the photo I've got tonight is slightly different. It's you'll see myself and Jim in the photo, and I'm the one cranking the tower, and Jim's the one holding the beams. And it was when we were running G3WOR Portable, the Worthing Radio Club, back in, I think, this 1978. Where it was a Ritty contest, and we stopped doing it, I think, because we kept coming first. Being down in Worthing, of course, it's perfect for working into Europe, but there you go. Okay, hopefully you got all that, Jeff. M0 AEG with group GM4JKZ.
GM4JKZ, 0 AED, returning. Yeah, thanks for that, Keith. Yeah, I mean, my Volvo S60 is on something like 81,000 miles at the moment, and it's still running well. And the local Volvo dealer tells me it's good for another 80,000 miles. But whether we'll change it before then, I don't know. It is a matter to look at, because there are things that could go wrong apart from the engine, so and we'll see where we go. I used to be in the multi-trade, retail multi-trade for over 30 years, and this S60 is probably the best car that I've ever had. So you can't put that for a recommendation, can you? So what we'll probably do, as there's not many of us on this evening, we'll go into the finals round in a couple of minutes, and then we can see where we go from there. We might actually get another round in completely before we do the photographs. So I'll take it and see how long the overs are. First of all, I know that Paul, G0TVB, you disconnected and come back on Paul. How are you joining us this evening? Back to you. Nothing else from Paul. He usually has two moving connections to 305. I think one from home and one from the car. But both have been down. He's not got off them both, I think, at the moment. Oh no, there's one that's still warm up, and he's put back on with the other one. Just back to you again, eh? Joining us this evening, Paul. Okay, we'll go back to the top of the list to see how far we go. know if we can come around it, just absolutely fine. Over to you there, Lou. GHJJ in the group, M0AUG. And I'll put that this evening, Lou.
M0AUG and the group GAKJ. Yes, okay, Jeff. I thought your idea of double-sided tape is a really good one because regarding the foot switch, which is a homebrew job, it was moving about the floor. It's a bit disconcerting when you put your foot on it, it's slipping, and you're talking, and things start to go awry at that point. So yeah, it's a really good idea. I'll try that. See how it goes. Congratulations, Mike, on working Antarctica. I've been trying for years to do that. I've made contact on occasion, but always dropped out at the important part. So, yeah, well done on that. Maybe I'll get my chance eventually. Mick, G4IWO, the idea of a 10-meter version of it is a good one. I might try that as a first stage and see how that performs. The cobweb antenna that I use is a 5-band job, as you probably know, and the 10-meter part of it doesn't work very well, and I don't get out very well on that on the cobweb. On all other frequencies, it works really well. So I think it's something to do with the way I set it up, maybe. But a 10-meter delta loop, I could fit that in, I think. The XYL would appreciate it, I don't know, but I could probably fix it in and try it out. 10 meters, yeah, that's a good idea. And okay about the balloons, Jeff. That's something I'd like to have a go at. I would be quite pleased to have a go at that. So it's something to look into in the future. Anyway, I'm going to make this my last over, Jeff. But it's been a very enjoyable evening again. So thank you to you for hosting it, and thank you for all the input from everybody else for the work they've done. 73s and all the best, and we'll look forward to next week's chat. GAKJJ, back to M0AUG in the group.
Returning to GAKJJ. Yeah, thanks on that, Lou. The other thing about the double-sided tape, you can get, and probably from all the large DIY retailers, you can get some equivalent of double-sided Velcro, which is a bit substantial. And obviously it comes in a spiky half and a smooth half. But that's the one I put in, rather than just the double-sided tape. It's a bit more longevity in there. That's certainly a good one. Mine will get plenty of use this week, and I hope. So thanks for joining us this evening, Lou, and I'll talk with you next week. So thank you, and goodbye from me. Also, we'll join now, Mike and Jenna. So we're plenty of time, haven't we? So I think I'll only do a W with the LHPDT in the group, M0AG.
Dear one, JW was the final, yes, thank you. First of all, Bob, and for a critique to your new quota additions to the already very impressive list of results you got there. Excellent. And Jeff, all in 8 November Tango, one thought about your satellite dish and the Q100 tryout there. If you get hold of used TV satellite, you could perhaps try out if you could receive the Q100 satellite over the next building. And if that is the case, then one could go further from there. We have made some receiving tests with TV antenna here, and it's very promising if you are not at ground floor and if there are no trees in the near distance. But I think the satellite is relatively far up. I think about 26 or something like that degrees, as is the neighboring satellite of, what's it called, Astra, I think. So perhaps it should be possible. Another word to whisper. I've been experimenting with that in the last 2 weeks and trying out something with the NFET half wave and 500 milliwatts, and mainly between 5 and 7 p.m. UTC time on 20 meters and on 10 meters. And the results are very different from day to day. Today it was on 10 meters it was not possible to reach South America, which I got easily a few days ago on 10 meters with 500 milliwatts, and on 20 meters it's even more promising. I can always reach Tasmania, Victor Kilo 7, with the 500 milliwatts at this time of the day, and the east coast of the US. I will be monitoring this further on to see how it develops further. So that's very interesting, I think. I say thank you very much for this nice group meeting again. It was very interesting and gave me a lot to think about, and was very entertaining as well. Thank you very much, Jeff, M0AUG, for hosting the net. Excellent as always, and I hope to see you or hear you all safe and sound in the future there. Wishing you all the very best for the upcoming WPX weekend, perhaps, and for the week to come. So stay safe and sound, and 73 from my side. Passing the microphone to Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango.
Yeah, this is Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango for the group. Thank you very much for the interesting talk, and thank you, Jeff, for running the net. So I wish you all a nice weekend, and hope that you'll get some contact on the log during the weekend. Hope to meet you again down the log or next week. So bye-bye, 73 and 88. This was Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango, handing the microphone to M0AUG for the group.
Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango with Delta Lima 1 Bravo Julia Whiskey. Thank you all for you and have a few contributions. You are so much part of this net, and we do appreciate it. And always got so much to add, and I know that you get lots of use from the other contributors to the net. Thanks for joining us again this evening, Mike and Adriana, and hope to be here with you soon. And enjoy the WPX contest this weekend. It's one of my favourites, but we'll see how the weather conditions hold up there. So, 7388, over there to Melbourne, Germany. Over to you there, I think now, because the other three contributors in there will be sending photographs at the end. So before I go to you, just hope everybody is listening on the track group is enjoying the net tonight, and hope to on the YouTube, and hope that you join on YouTube, and hope you enjoy the evening as well. So, made a model of that one. There we are. G4IWA in the group, M0AUG.
M0AUG in the group from G4IWO. Yeah, yes, don't worry at all about it, Jeff. Yes, I'm hopefully no one's logged in on YouTube to give their call sign, but as you know, we get lots of visitors live, and we get even more visitors during the week who come and listen to the recordings of this that we post up. We get regularly 50 or 60 people listening to the recordings of our net. I'll tell you one thing that did occur to me, just going back to me suggesting making a 10-meter delta loop. When this month's RAGCON came out, mine arrived earlier this week, there's an article about the RSGB have got a special purchase for RSGB members of a Moxon 2-element Yagi for 4 meters and 6 meters combined into one antenna. They're quite cheap and good value, but it did occur to me that it would be quite easy to make both a 6 meter and a 4 meter version of the Delta Loop. Now that would be very small, and just thinking of Jeff on his balcony there, a 6 meter Delta Loop would be not much bigger really than your Ampro whips, but might give you a reasonable gain from operating 6 meters during sporadic E-season, which as we know is kind of coming up, and could be a lot of fun with that. So I think there is definitely lots of scope for experimenting with the design and trying it out on some of the higher bands where the sizes are a lot smaller. So anyway, that was my thought when I read the article about the Moxon antenna, which is still quite a big antenna. It's probably about 10-12 feet long, and almost a couple of meters probably a length, and maybe a meter width. So it's a reasonably large antenna, and of course it's designed to be mounted like a Yagi, up in the air at 10 to 20 meters off the ground. But of course the Delta Loop with the low angle of radiation, like a vertical, can be used very well at from ground level. So that was a thought that I had, and it's definitely worth experimenting with these things. And it would be good to have an antenna really to use on 6 meters for sporadic E if we get some good sporadic E this year, which I'm hoping for. And finally to Bob N4XAT, an amazing contribution, Bob. The number of parks that you've worked there, and you definitely are in the category. If you look at the people that take part in the marathons, like the Boston Marathon, the London Marathon, and so on, the vast majority, 30,000-40,000 people who enter are what people describe as the fun runners, running for charity. Some do it fairly well, some do it, take many hours to complete the race. But then there's apart from the elite athletes, maybe 100 of those, there's a couple of thousand of people who are in running clubs who run just after the elite athletes have left, but in front of the fun runners. And I would say in amateur radio terms, Bob, you're up in that elite section, aren't you? You're in that first section, well above the chasing pack, not quite at the top. Not quite in the top 100, of course, but not that far behind that you're not doing at all well. So congratulations to you on your achievement in your Parks on the Air activities, and most of that is, as you've said, on CW. So on that note, 73s everyone, 73s to those who are listening live on YouTube now, and those who catch up with our recording of this that we place up on the digital channel. Hope you enjoy the net, and if you're able to find a way to join us with either a D-Star or DMR radio, you'd always be very welcome. So back to you, Jeff. M0 AUG in the group G4IWO.
Thanks very much for that, Mike. And Bob is a champion in his own right, isn't he? And all the work that he puts into it, Bob, on CW, which I don't do, but honestly, fantastic sport and everything else. So, thank you for everybody contributing to this week's night. than usual. Quality not quantity, shall we say. And what we'll do is to the three gentlemen who want to send their pictures over. So we'll start with Bob, M4XAT, followed by Keith, GM4JKZ, and bringing up the finale, Jeff, Oscar, Ray, and Tango. So thanks everybody for joining us this evening, and we'll look forward to catching up with you next week. And I hope you get successfully CQWPX this weekend. So, to you, Bob, if you'd like to send your picture, please. And thanks for being with us tonight. And for the next team group, M0AG. M0AG with group November 4, X-Ray Alpha Tango. First of all, just a short note to Mike and Adriana. I had to cancel my trip to 95. If you're interested, I know Frank will be aboard for Museum Ships Weekend. Ian Jurgens wants to cancel my reservations. I have 2 rooms reserved at the Shear House for that event from the Thursday before the 1st of June to the Tuesday after. If you're interested, maybe if you talk with Frank, you can make some arrangements. I know that Frank will be aboard for Museum Ships Weekend. And I'm not sure when Hans Jurgen, or if he already has canceled my reservations at the Shear. There'll be 2 rooms open if he hasn't canceled them yet. Eventually there'll be 2 rooms open for that event. As far as my picture goes, tonight I'm still experimenting. I talked with Keith last night, found out that I had already Lighthouse. Tonight I'm going to send a picture of Shulu. But the fact of the Shulu is the picture that I'm sending has a black background, and I'm just curious what's going to happen when we hit the knolls, like we'll hit occasionally on a photo that we sent out. So this picture is pretty black. You can see the machine on Shulu, but even the ship itself is black except on the bottom of it. So I'm just curious what's going to happen when I send it. If you do get black spots, if you'll be able to tell that you've missed a portion of it, hi. And thank you, Jeff, for running the net as usual. Very enjoyable. I look forward to it weekly, and I hope to be aboard again next week. With that, if you stand by a second, I'll set my radio up here. Yeah. Try to send that picture now. M0 energy, just 1 or 2 blocks apart from the dark background, and the title up at the top. I don't think it's come through. I think it's supposed to say something about something ship there, Bob. But a beautiful example of the ship really is. Actually, yeah, up at the top it's the name of the ship. It's now called the Shulu. MOSHULU. Originally, it was a German ship. I think it was built in 1904. I'm not sure. And the original name of it was the Kirk, K-U-R-T, and it had a couple of other names after that. But currently, it's a museum ship and a restaurant combined. Jeff, back to you, M0U and 4KT. thanks for clarifying that. Superb ship, isn't it? Absolutely superb. With all the masonry in there, so thanks very much for that. That's a good one. Over to you, Jeff Walkie, for comments.
At 100% copy, 100% copy, very beautiful ship.
From JKZ, I just got 3 blocks on the name of the vessel at the top right hand. Otherwise, cracking ship.
Well, thank you. I was just curious what would happen if I had a black background when you did get the drop house, and you just happened to get the drop house where there was really high. Back to you, I guess, Jeff. Ham 0 easy.
Ham 0 EG. That's me, Jeff. I've got you broken up there.
Sorry, yes, I did keep watching you.
M0.
Roger, from GM4JKZ. Yeah, just a couple of comments before the picture. Volvos, remember, are running at 200,000 miles. I'm on 191,050 at the moment, so I'm getting there. I agree about the comment about using Velcro. I use that here as well. It's very handy for the microphones, sticking them onto the front of the uprights in front of me, so that's pretty good. And I'm assuming that the Blackpool radio rally, if you're using XLX 305D, you'll be using Emax 0 PSU, hopefully. So I shall look out for that for sure. Okay, just let me get set up, and the picture will be coming in about 5 seconds.
Easy. Sorry to report to you, there's a lot of blocks on the picture there. A lot of blocks. So I can't get involved supposedly. Back over to you, Gene.
Yeah, okay, Jeff, yeah, fine. Yeah, wind's getting up a bit here and the weather's changing, so it could be my action this end. I can send it again if you want to. Go ahead.
Yes, I'd love to see what it really is, if you don't mind, please, Keith.
Roger, on its way.
Still a few blocks, but I can see what it is now then, Keith. Thanks very much. Any comments for you? The first one then to Jeff. Not yet, but you feel then in other words, now I can see the people in the picture, and I can even read that call line on there, GN4 JKZ. So I can see the picture, but it probably is what a few thousand miles away, so that could make a difference also. But a good photo, even though there are still some dropouts.